Hello, everyone. My guest today is Sunil Saha. He's the founder and CEO of a company called Perkville, a rewards platform for local businesses. He started the company to help SMBs compete with large companies by giving them a powerful yet affordable program. He now works with companies of all sizes with over 2,000 locations and 1 million consumers participating every single month. Sunil, are you ready to take us to the top?
Let's do it.
I love this name, Perkville. It's like, I feel like it's a game I can play or something.
Yeah, it was actually very contentious when we started the company. My wife hated it.
Is she a co-founder?
She is not,
Oh.
but she's an important stakeholder in the whole equation when you're starting a company. And we held firm, and now she likes it. So she was turned around.
What changed her mind?
I think the success that we've had, and it's been resonating well, and our growth. I think that's what ultimately will turn around your spouse.
Yes.
So,
How do you measure success? What metric do you use?
yeah, I mean, for us, I think it changes every year. In the beginning, we're in Silicon Valley, so it was about raising money. And so,
How much have you raised?
We've raised about $5 million total.
Okay.
Yeah. So getting, some funding underway so you can pay yourself. And then now it's really about profitability. That's really our goal for 2018. We're very close.
How close?
We are, maybe 10% in the red right now.
And 10% of top line revenue?
Of top line revenue, yeah. So we're very, very close.
That's not bad.
And so we should hit it this year. We're feeling good about that. And a little bit different than your typical Silicon Valley company, which goes on to raise 50 to 100 million, which we may still do in the future, but we want to prove we have a model that works, and getting profitable, really shows that.
Yeah, I am a much bigger fan of profitable companies that have raised no money than I am of, $100 million raised companies that are burning cash not a good thing, right? All right. Tell us more of the backstory. When did you launch the company?
So we launched in 2010. And honestly, I think we were a bit early, because what we discovered is, we were focused on small and medium-sized companies. And we discovered that the owners in those businesses are extremely busy. They don't have time to do extra work to manage a reward program. Consumers also, it's very hard to change their behavior and get them to take extra steps at the point of sale. So we tried a variety of approaches to solve the problem, some of which you may have heard of. I don't know if you've heard of BellyCard, for example, out of Chicago, where they had the iPads that sat at the cash register. We did some of those approaches before they did even. And we quickly learned that the only way for this to really work is to integrate it to the point of sale system that the business used. And that way it was completely automated, both for the business and for the consumer. And so at the time in 2010, there were not a lot of point of sale companies that had an API that you could hook into. A few years down the road, a company called MindBody Online, you may have heard of them.
Yeah, they just bought Booker. Yeah.
They just bought Booker. That's right. They're the leading player in the health and beauty space. And they were one of the first to come out with an API. So we integrated to them, and that worked beautifully, especially in the yoga sort of Pilates space. You come in, take your yoga class, you get points, you can redeem those for free classes, namaste, everyone's happy. And so that scaled well. That actually put us into the fitness vertical. And since then, that's been our primary vertical to date. And it's been nice because we are now the leader in that space. So whenever a company's thinking about a reward program, if you're in the fitness space, you're going to think about Perkville.
So how much is MindBody acquiring you for?
Yeah, no, they've certainly been, on a little bit of a spree here lately. And, we still have a lot of growth to go. So it's early days.
You can barely say that without smiling. So if 2 weeks from now I see the headline, I'm going to go, Sunil, I should have hit him harder on that. All right. So, okay, good. So that's good. So launched in 2010, you raised $5 million. Tell us more. I kind of skipped over this. Tell us more about what it does. So it's integrates with the point of sale system. Describe how a consumer, like one of my listeners, when they go to their local fitness place, how will they experience it?
Yeah, exactly. So basically all you have to do is have an email address on file with the business in their system. And so you go in, you check in at the gym, or you get a haircut at your salon, or you take a yoga class, you automatically earn points. And you get notified by email that you've earned points. You then join the reward program. And I was at LinkedIn before. So we took a lot of the tips and tricks from LinkedIn and applied them here, where an invitation gets sent to you, just like you get invites on LinkedIn. And that invitation is what gets you engaged in the reward program. So that's a key one. The other one I would say is at LinkedIn, we A/B tested everything. And we do the same at Perkville to really drive results for our clients. We A/B test every flow.
What tool do you use for that to test your flows? A/B test them.
So we use a number of tools. We use this tool called Send With Us, which is an email A/B testing system. It integrates to SendGrid, which I'm sure you've heard of. There's a new company that actually is very exciting called Intellimize. My previous boss at Yahoo co-founded it and is CEO, growing very fast.
What's it called again?
Intellimize. And what they've done is they worked on the Yahoo front page, and they've taken the learnings from that incredibly, there's probably no page that's been more A/B tested than the Yahoo homepage, and they've made it to where any company can use that type of technology.
Okay, good. So you use those pieces of tech. Once the email is there, you get an invite, then boom, you automatically get rewards. I don't have to do anything extra at the register, which was, you said, the big friction point earlier on.
You got it. That's
interesting.
Right.
Will you ever get into the hardware game where you're actually making your own POS systems? Square kind of did this, right?
Well, our aspiration is to be cross-vertical. We're in the fitness vertical today. We're in some salons, some spas, some retail. There's huge opportunity as this technology continues to evolve. Rather than get into the hardware game, which we think would tie us down into a specific vertical, we think it's smarter to partner and integrate with existing players in those spaces.
Okay. And what's the pricing model? Is it a pure play SaaS model or what?
Pure play SaaS model. So we start off at $99 per month per location, up to $149 per month. So that's kind of the range. And the bigger you are, you have more locations, so you pay more.
Yeah. What would you say the average is per location?
The average per location is probably like $120 a month in that range.
And what is the difference between what I get at $99 and what I get at $149?
It's really based on the size of the business. So, you have some really small boutique studios who may have 200 or 300 customers. You have some health clubs that may have 5,000. So it gives us a little bit of wiggle room there to make some more from the bigger clients versus the small ones.
Why such a little difference? Someone with 5,000 clients should get 5,000x the value from someone with one client, but your pricing doesn't reflect that.
Yeah, there's kind of a bound that these companies are used to paying with other SaaS products. So, if you get outside that bound, then it gets harder to close deals. So we're kind of in the sweet spot there. The other thing is, typically if you have 300 or 400 clients, you're charging them a lot more money per client than if you have 5,000.
I see.
So it's not quite as big a difference from a revenue perspective.
Yeah. What have you scaled to now today? How many locations are you in?
We're in about 2,300 locations, mostly in the US, but around the world as well.
And across how many logos? How many brands?
About 1,000 brands total.
Okay, it's pretty good. So, can I multiply the 120 per location times 2,300? You're doing about what, 276 right now per month?
We've been around for a little bit. We've experimented with pricing. So it's a little bit less than that. You're in the ballpark.
But just because you get maybe discounting early on or things like that?
Different models that we tested, exactly.
Okay, got it. Can you put a minimum though on that? Are you definitely north of 200?
A little bit south of 200.
Little south of 200. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. That, by the way, it's very typical to do pricing experiments early on, and you increase pricing over time. So, okay, good. What about churn? Churn is tough in this kind of business because they go out of business a lot.
Yeah, no, churn is a challenge in small and medium-sized companies, especially with a marketing tool, because it's not as mission critical as your point of sale, for example. So, our churn is actually in a very healthy place right now. And it's been a struggle to get here, but, we're now in about, I would say 3% monthly absolute churn or gross churn.
Yep.
And about 2% revenue churn. Yeah, that's 3% logo, 2% revenue.
And sorry, you said gross or net logo churn?
Gross
logo churn. Got it.
Yeah.
Per month. That's great. Yeah. And 2% revenue churn. That's good. So you're churning lesser paying customers, which makes obviously sense there. What about CAC? What are you paying to get these guys?
So our CAC is low. Right now we're around 3-to-1 CAC to LTV. And, I think that's kind of the floor of where you want to be. And that's also been a struggle to get there, but we've made it. And I think we want to get to 4-to-5. That's where we want to see the business go. And we're making good progress in that direction. With
3% logo churn per month, you could assume just by division that it would stay with you for about 30-ish or months at that $80, $90 price point, right? So that's like $2,700 in LTV. Is that right now what you peg your LTV at?
Yeah, our LTV is, I would say, a little bigger than that because the average business may have more than one location. And so, average is about $140 per month per location.
Okay. So what talking $3,000, $4,000 LTV is pretty, what you back in the napkin at?
Yeah, in that range.
Okay,
yeah.
Got it. So look, if it's $3,000 LTV and you have the ratio between LTV and CAC is 4, you're willing to pay up to $750 to get that customer, get that location.
Yeah, that's right.
Interesting. And how do you get that? Do you have an inside sales team or is it just pure paid direct spend?
So we have an inside sales team, and what we try and do in the early days, we used to do a lot of sort of discounts and first month free, etc. And we realize that leads to higher churn at the end of the day. So we've now really focused on educating our customers, educating our partners, doing a lot of co-marketing through trusted partners, because like MindBody is a good example. Those businesses are direct targets for us. They use a system that we integrate with. And so that co-marketing is the most effective way for us to get new leads into our funnel.
Do you pay MindBody a kickback?
They do get a revenue share, yeah.
Yeah,
and that's
typical affiliate.
That's typical how you see it, yes. That's right.
And what's your team size today?
13
people. And then payback period. I mean, can I just take the 750 divided by about 140 per month and assume you're getting, what is that? Like, how many months is that? 5 months, 6 month payback period?
I would say it's probably because there is some revenue share in there, so that impacts the LTV a bit. So you're probably getting closer to 8-9 months in that range.
That's still healthy, right?
Still healthy.
So let me ask you a question, right? So if you're doing around 190 grand right now per month, that puts you at about, what is that? Like a 2-3 in terms of ARR run rate. If you've raised 5 million though in capital, and assuming you only sold 10-20% of your company on those rounds, I mean, you were valued at something like 30-40 million. It would be tough for you to find someone to give you a 15x multiple on 2.3 million to like buy the company. So like, do you ever worry about how to get out from under these, the liquidation preference you have and to grow into your last round's valuation?
Yeah, I mean, I would say we've probably, sold more of the company than that. So not quite as rich a valuation as what you've said. So we don't have, we don't have to grow out as big a hole, I think, as what you mentioned.
Fair enough.
So we're in a pretty good place to return to our investors, a decent return. And we still, again, have a lot of growth ahead. And the nice thing is being profitable gives us the options. And that's really, one of the reasons we've focused on getting to profitability. We will then have the option. Do we continue growing organically? Do we, get acquired? Do we do another round of financing, maybe with a partial buyout? Those options will be there without being like, oh my God, we're going to run out of money, which is not a fun place to be.
You're at 190 today per month. Where were you about 13, 14 months ago?
We've been growing about 15-20% a year.
That's not bad. Okay, so you were doing about, but what was that, 150, something like that, 12 months ago?
Yeah.
Yep. Good. Okay, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Favorite business. So a recent one that I've read is called 7 Powers by Hamilton Helmer, and it talks about the things you really need to do to drive outsized return for your investors. Things like scale. Netflix is a good example of that. Brand, Tiffany is a good example of that. So it really helps as a CEO, helps you focus on those critical aspects of your business.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
There isn't a single CEO. What I found is I like to read books that are written by other CEOs. So Andy Grove or previous CEOs. Andy Grove, I love all his books. Peter Thiel, I love his books as well. That's kind of the approach I take.
Number 3, Sunil, what's your favorite online tool for building the business?
Oh, man. The 2 tools I'm in the most, I would say, are HubSpot and QuickBooks.
Okay.
And QuickBooks is kind of my scorecard. That shows me how I'm doing on a day-to-day basis in terms of getting to profitability. And HubSpot, that's our lead. That's how we get our lead. So that's how we grow.
Number 3, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
My wife is good. She gets me in bed by 10:30. She's like, you're coming to bed. So 10:30, 11, I'm in bed and I'm up at 7. So 8 hours of sleep a night.
That's good. And what's your situation? Obviously married. Any kiddos or no?
2 kids, 2 and 4.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. And how old are you?
I'm 43.
All right, Sunil, last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I was thinking about this before, and I think managing a P&L, if I had more experience with that before, I think that would have really helped in the early days of Perkville, just managing the money tightly. So I just, anytime you can get that P&L experience early in your career, I think it's a great way to go.
Learn financials earlier from Sunil. Founded Perkville in 2010, now doing about $2.3 million per year in ARR, growing 15% year over year. They've got healthy economics. They serve over 2,300 locations, again, helping those locations create loyalty systems that actually work, perks that work, because it's built directly into the point of sale system. They make, again, about $83 per location on a weighted average. Obviously, current customers are signing up. It's closer to $120. 2020, but they've got about 2,300 locations. So good reach. They pay about $750 to sign up a location. Lifetime value on that CAC is $3,000. So healthy ratio there. They get their money back in about 9 months with their team of 13 based out there in Oakland. $5 million raised. Sunil, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you. Great to be here.